most essential quality of an actor is an empathetic quality. It's the ability or an instinct toward looking at other people and the gestural ways that they communicate, and soaking that up and having an instinct for soaking that up and representing it. Kind of a radar for human behavior, or it's at least an interest in it. And I've always found, on another level for me, I've always found, because I always did have a difficult time with the idea of making choices that would limit my experience, or choosing lifestyles that on some level put me in a track. No. Being an actor, on an adult level, for me, it's like you get to be an experiential dilettante. Yeah. You get to dip very substantially into these worlds of experience, even modes of being and expression that, and really root around in them for a while, get the thrill of it, get the taste of it, and then step out without any of the consequences of actually choosing that as a lifestyle. And go on to something else. And go on to something else. Yeah. And I find that's not even a job for me. I mean, that's the work that's not work. I really, really enjoy that sort of diversity of experience. And on a broader level, I do have a fundamental faith in, or passion for, just the broader art.
As an actor, I want to be an actor. I don't want to be a director. It's too much. As a director, I did not appreciate when actors tried to direct. It's best for any show to have one vision, and whether that vision is your vision or not is irrelevant. Everyone can have a great idea about something, but you have to give it over to the leader of the piece to do that. As an actor, I have a responsibility to the truth of the character. So if there's something in the decisions being made that don't mesh with the truth that I believe, then that's when I'll be involved in a discussion.
But you only speak as a human being in life, and therefore if you're trying to reproduce life on stage, and whenever I've talked to students, or indeed worked with young actors when I was directing The Winter Guest as a movie particularly, I have an absolute mantra, which is that you only speak because you wish to respond to something you've heard. So the notion of an actor going away and looking at a speech they have in their bedroom alone at night is a complete nonsense to me. What you have to say is completely incidental. All I want to see from an actor, to me, is the intensity and accuracy of their listening. And then what you have to say will become automatic. And then it will be free and alive. And then you can work on it and shape it and talk about it. But the basic kind of engine to it is how accurate is your listening, and how alive are you to your fellow actors, and how accurate is your response, and how bold.
I think it's important to stand out and make bold decisions, and I think there's not enough people in the world that encourage that for artists. You have to kind of take a leap of faith, especially in the self-taping kind of world with those parameters, and getting that audition the morning when I did the tape. It's kind of like, how do I step up to the plate and do something really different and unique, and that has me stand out and separate it from Baker. There's a lot of pressure on, how do you look, how do you behave, what's your off-screen presence like, a lot of things that are important to me, like being humble and being down to earth and those sort of things, and having appreciation for everyone you work with. They're all things that play into part of into the greater picture. In drama school in third year, me and my friends started auditioning and messaging managers and agents off IMDb every night when we would go home. And over the course of my third year of drama school, I did 90 tapes in private at home. Wow. So that was the first thing that we started doing. The second thing was learning the American accent, because we were targeting that this was an industry pool that we wanted to be in. And then thirdly, I think we got a book that was about that whole business component of the industry that I'm talking about, kind of analyzing yourself as a brand, you know what I mean, and sort of creating that in your head. And then fourth, I think the biggest thing is visualization. It's just like visualizing. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Visualize yourself taking those steps.
Not only had I been preparing for that like a year earlier for the audition for 2 months, then we rehearsed for months, then it was like halfway through the shoot, which was a 7-month shoot. So I had been preparing for this scene forever, for almost a year. So we get there, we shoot the intro scene, and it goes, we do like a few takes, and Scorsese's happy, and he's like, you know, cool, moving on, right? I'm so relieved. Then we have to shoot the scene that's not even really scripted. It's like 1 or 2 lines. And I start doing it. And we do it again. We do it again. We do it again. We end up doing it like 20 times. Obviously, we know something's not working because or else we would have moved on ages ago, right? And so we do it like 10 more times. Nothing. I'm freaking.
So you've done like 30 times.
And I'm freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking out. And he's like, kid, come here, come sit with me. And we go to the monitors and we sit. And for about 20 minutes, he just reads the newspaper. And I just sit and stare at the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know? I just like start to naturally relax, you know? Like I'm just kind of chilling out a bit. I'm just like, okay, you know, like chilling. And then after like 20 minutes, he's like, kid, you want to try it again? I was like, yeah. Everyone comes back in. We do it 2 times. He's like, that was great. Let's go. But he had to like get me out of my own head. I was doing something wrong, and he just was like basically his way of getting me to get out of my head and chill out.
It's funny because it's been something that has been on my mind for the last 2 years. I signed up about 2 years ago. It means I'm obsessively thinking about it night and day and can't sleep and have, you know, dreams about it and wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it's my first time on stage. Yeah. So I was terrified, you know, and up until 2 weeks ago, I've been terrified going on stage.
But you feel comfortable now?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think no matter what, because it's the very first production that I'm involved in, I've never been on stage before, so I'm always going to have nerves when I go on stage. I'm never going to be completely comfortable, and maybe that's a good thing.
I don't think one ever gets over that, but I think it takes on different colors. I mean, abject fear is frightening, but adrenaline and oh my God, you know, and wow, it's. You never lose it. I don't think anybody worth their salt ever loses it. I never knew anybody that was any good that said, Merman pretended, you know, 50 years, all new people, you know, and all that boring crap. I'm talking about the fear of whether or not they're going to be and caring too much about what other people think of you. But the nice pat on the back is I'm human and I got to be good to myself and know that that is perfectly a human quality. To be scared to death. And not to be scared to death. That everybody is, let's face it. See, the ideal way is what the audience thinks of me is none of my business. Oh boy, if you could ever reach that in your lifetime, it's my business, but it's not my business. What they think, what I think of myself is much more important. And then you work hard and the rest is up to whoever's out there looking after me. And I'm not talking about the audience, but he's probably there too as far as being up there. Where the hell is he? I don't know. And I'm talking about you know who.
There's going to be an arc, you know. There's going to be times when certain things have a deep personal meaning and you're a lot more just on the hunt, you know. Always searching, sometimes hunting, but never resting. Where's the juice, you know? What's in it for you? What do we get to glean from the experience, you know? That's all that really I remember from the movies, aside from the aftermath and a really special night like tonight with, you know, intelligent people talking, you know, way, way below the surface about what we're trying to do. That's like Joseph Campbell says, if you're on a path that's beaten, it's not your path. And it's having the initiative to say, God, that looks kind of treacherous over there. This might really stir up some personal stuff for me. Or there's an archetype there that I've been avoiding for a long, long time. That shadow stuff, that trickster stuff, that authoritative stuff, that rebellious stuff, or that really straight down the line simplicity. The answers are there from moment to moment. You're rooted in what you learn and what you're getting infused with here, and then flexible up top to be like, that works, that doesn't, drop that, that's my shit. What am I doing? Screw him, you know, whatever. Wait, not that, you know. It's that, you know, cycles per second, fantastic stuff. That's the juice.
I think sometimes being told you can't do can fuel the fire. I think in some ways there's some people who I think are resilient in a certain sense, that being told no or you can't. I think my biggest obstacle was actually getting over myself, getting over my ego, and growing up. And all three of those things played into the craft portion of my career and my technique. You fall in love with so many different facets. I think I'm really interested where arts meets commerce. A big portion of this industry is about business, right? And I can give you 99 examples off the top of my head of actors that went through drama school with me that are far more talented than I am. But I think the interesting thing is about analyzing the business scope of the industry and meeting it with the artistic endeavor and kind of matching them together and finding that nice medley of, you know, I can do something, I can achieve something. And if you're given the opportunity, you have that preparation, then you can step into those shoes, do that. Then when you get on set and when you're lucky enough to book the role and you step there, you can let all of that fade into the peripheral. You're there, you got the job, and it's about the art. It's about what you fell in love with. It's about what you kind of pine for your whole childhood, and you can let it all go. But in the interim, there's a lot of other stuff going on that, you know, that does influence, you know, having part in the industry.
But I'll tell you, there's nothing like the theater for the work. I mean, it is doing 8 performances a week of a musical comedy. Musical comedy, it's an old-fashioned word, is almost asking too much of any. It's well, I wish you could say. Can you say a 4-letter word on the on this show? The wonderful quote of Merman's is so true. You want to do a musical comedy, and you want to do it right, you got to live like a fucking nun. And she's right. Do you know the way I want to go out at night? After a show with friends and talk to them about it and listen to their compliments, hopefully. You got to go home. You just got to shut up and deal, you know? You got to go home, you got to get in bed, you got to watch theater talk, and you've got to eat and be quiet and have a good meal, and because otherwise